Hi, welcome to a new video dedicated to a new super compact brushless racer. This is the GEPRC, the Hummingbird, and what we have in hand, we have a super strong, very solid 3S FPV racer with some 1106 motors, 12 ampere, Bellily S D-Shock 600 compatible 4-in-1 ESC. We have a F4 board, super powerful with higher PAD and gyros loop, and installed on front a CCD camera to optimize your FPV experience. More the 48-channel video transmitter got output powers possibility, different one, 25, 100 and 200 milliwatt, and more important is ERC immersion RC tramp protocol compatible, so you can change everything from the Osd side. Let's discover this new super brushless racer. Okay, so already pre-installed some elephant we can find in the box, but let's continue to start to see the other accessories provided with. So we have a full bag of spare props and more. We have 2 bags, so in total we have 3 times 4 props as spare. That's great. An extra battery strap, already pre-installed one. Okay, an extra tube to install your 2 5.0 GHz antenna. Actually, I've got the FierSky version with an XM Plus 2.4 GHz compact receiver installed on rear, but you can find it in FlySky or in Spectrum edition. What we can find also, we can find some anti-slap slicing pad to be installed on bottom, okay, if you want to completely secure a battery installation. 2 Allen key and a free XT30 connector, and some screws for the prop, some spare one. First remark, why they gave the XT30 connector and not install directly this one? Because actually out of the box we have a JST connector, even if the silicon wires got a large gauge, probably will accept without too much difficulties the max 12 ampere, but an XT30 connector would have been better to be installed out of the box, because we can find more easily some 3S batteries in XT30 connector right now. So maybe, my opinion, they don't want to let us to try in 4S configuration. Yes, this one got only 12 ampere 4-in-1 ESC, so 12 ampere won't be strong enough for 4S configuration. Whatever, so I want to give you the indication of the weight with everything installed, and we should be a little bit less than 120 grams. So let's give the exact measurement. 118.7 grams, just under the limit of 120 grams. So if you need some exact dimension, we have a super solid strong structure, and the carbon element, okay, sorry, I have to offset everything. Yes, the carbon element is 3 millimeters. The lateral one here is 2, and the upper plate should be a little bit below. It's about probably 150. So as you can see, a super strong 3-key carbon structure, where both plates are linked with some aluminum standoff. 3 screws, M2 screws, are here to hold the top plate. Under this one, we can guess the video transmitter. The antenna, the linear one, is attached with a micro FL connector, and here we can find the button. The frequency selection now can be done via Osd or by some Betaflight command, or more classically with this button here, unique button. So the procedure is a little bit unusual. First, if you first press and hold this button 3 seconds, you will enter into the VFREC selection. So you will see that the light, the blue light, will flash, and the number of flash will be linked, correlated with the current VFREC selection. So if you see only 1 blue light, it means that it's a VFREC 1, 2 blue light is VFREC 2, and so on. If you are in the channel selection, so with a blue flashing light, and you still one more time. Press and hold the button 3 seconds. Now you will go into the V-band selection, and now the LED here will flash in green. So you have 5 supported band. I said 48, but it's 40 channel on this, sorry. So one more time, when you can start to see the green line flashing, one short press will go to the next V-band, and one flash, green flash, mean the first V-band, second, 2 flash, the second, and so on. And finally, I think you started to understand, if you, in the V-band selection, if you press and hold this button one more time more than 3 seconds, now you enter into the output power selection, and the LED will turn and flash to red. Okay, 1 light for 25 milliwatts, 2 lights for 100, and 3 lights for 200 milliwatts. Out of the box it's set to 25 milliwatts. But now, thanks to this protocol, you can change everything on the flight with some OSD command I will show you in a few instants. The flight control board is correctly well installed. Okay, I didn't see some dampened MCU because it's an F4 board, and this one got some MPU 6800 if I'm not wrong. So the dampening of the MCU is very important for F4 board and more. For the motors, we have some GR branded 1106, so quite tall and more powerful. Maybe tuning and spinning only at 6800 kV if I'm not wrong. So not sure whatever that the motor were also compatible in 4S. It should be, but the AC are not, clearly not strong enough. On front, we can see the orange color is very recognizable. It's a run cam CCD camera on micro model in pale configuration by default. Okay, and here on the right side you can see here, this is the OSD, and on front, if I'm not wrong, there is a possibility to install the OSD cable to tune a little bit more the OSD settings. So we can find on the left side the micro USB, where Betaflight 3.2.1 is pre-flash, if I'm not wrong. On the right side, nothing special. And here we have the FearSky receiver, okay, where the buy button is here. So it's a FearSky XM Plus working in D16 mode. And beware, out of the box, the firmware flashed is not exporting the RSSI. It's pretty bad for such advanced micro FPV flyer to not have. They didn't took 5 minutes or 3 minutes to flash the firmware of the FearSky XM Plus to export the RSSI. So it's for me it's a really negative point. But the relatively good news, you can the receiver is connected via a 4-position micro JST with 1 mm section connector. So you can just remove this one, okay, and then use your favorite Taranis with some micro props to connect and to flash a compatible firmware. It's what I did, and now the RSSI is exported on the AUX1, okay, so no problem. I will have this extra information for free. I repeat, I deeply regret this absence. For the CCD camera, as you can see, there is a small possibility to tune the up tilt orientation thanks to these 2 lateral M2 screws. We can power this machine a little bit, and you will see that there are some light, and they are programmable through Betaflight. You can see a kind of scanner effect, okay, here in red, and then some green and white also. So it's quite a lot of light for the status, as you can see here. For the video transmitter, you can guess here the lights. So currently you can see the flashing procedure. So after a boot, okay, you can read here. You can see 3 green light and 4 blue 1. For the red, it's on the 0, so only 1, sorry. So it means that's in 25 milliwatts. So every 10 seconds you have all the beginning of the cycle of the light. You can see now. So at the first you saw 3 lights. one blue, one green, and one red. Then the second, one blue, one green. Okay, one more time, one blue, one green, and the last was the 4 blue, because I set the video frequency to the E4, so the fourth V frec of the Boscan band, and the Boscan band is the third V band. Okay, and the output power is the first 125 milliwatts. What is good, it's some time to program everything from Betaflight command. That's great. And for example, to turn on the pit stop option, minimizing the output video transmitter power until you harm this one, where after it will go to the original and nominal settings. So in terms of structure, I really like it, and just regret, for example, the absence of the directly of the XT30, the absence of the firmware for exporting the RSSI. So obviously I cannot give immediately an award due to this lacking of these two small details. Really, I don't understand. I really like the presence of a lot of props. There are some 3-blade 2-inch 2030 to be more exact, transparent, so almost I think there is no influence occlusion in the FPV view. So I will start to test it with some 3S with some XT connector, some basic one, some 550 milliamps per hours, so 100, close to 120 grams. And now it's time to check the Betaflight configuration and probably do some little optimization, especially in the OSD, to add, for example, the RSSI. Okay, so let's discover the default Betaflight settings and do some little optimization. So I will connect, and immediately the first thing to check is the current version install. Okay, we have an omnibus F4 special edition. This 3.2.1 is not the ultimate branch, but whatever, we can dump everything, okay, and save into a text file. So what you can is directly press this button, or just copy paste all this information and save them into an empty text file. Okay, for example, here it's what I did into this file. If you need to restore your original setting, just paste from this text file all this information into this CLI command, and don't forget to end by typing the save command. Okay, time to discover the configuration. So we will have to reboot one more time. Okay, press connection and go to the port. Very important, on the UART3, since it's a video transmitter compatible with the Immersion RC TREM protocol, you have to activate it here, okay, into the devices. For the FreeSky XM Plus in S-Bus configuration, you have to turn on the serial for the UART6. Okay, it's super important. Let's continue to check the configuration. We have a Quad X, D-Shock 600, it's selected by default. You can guess and see the default VFREC used, the frequency used, so 8 kilos for both the gyros and the main PID loop. And with such frequencies, the CPU usage, the load is quite low, 5% only. No specific board alignment, so it's directly an F board install. You have the name of the craft, okay, and the receiver is already correctly pre-installed, so it's a serial receiver, and more particularly with some S-Bus serial protocol. We have the LED strip and the OSD features turned on by default, and for the alarm everything is checked. Okay, so out of the box this page is correctly down. For the settings, we have some pretty low values for the warning and the minimum values, and 4.3 for the max sales voltage, so more or less corresponding to a LiPo ADHV. For the PIDs, we have some particularized values. Okay, so it's a little bit more for example, the P for the P channel is super low, and as well the D, so probably they already pre-optimized these PIDs. And we can, for example, you can see a dissymmetry of the max angle, okay, velocity in angle, so close to 800 degrees per second for the roll, little bit less for the pitch. I will synchronize them, okay, and for the I prefer something more linear, so I will optimize to something about okay, sorry, it's here, and here I will select something about 0.33, okay, like this, to have something more linear, close to 600 degrees. The level strengths have been also reduced to 30, and what we can see, nothing special. We can check the default filter settings. We have the PT1 pre-selected, and here you can see that there is not the default Betaflight value, so they optimize also the filters. That's great to eliminate as much as possible, I guess, all the harmonics and vibration. We can save the configuration. For the receiver in the next panel, you have to plug the machine with the battery. The USB port is not strong enough, the back is not strong enough to also power the receiver. So I will turn on it and turn my radio, okay, then we can go to the receiver section. So as you can see, I got the RSSI activity on NUX 12 since I flashed the last firmware 16 channel LCC version, okay, and I've got here more or less the correct mapping. And be sure to for your own test to have all these values centered, at least the four channels to be centered on a value of 1500 and between 1000 and a little bit less than the 1100 and 1950, for example. Okay, so it's what I have, a little bit more, so I will decrease later the scale, okay, to match this interval. For the mode, we have an arming, okay, directly arming on the aux1, and I will clearly change the settings because I don't like when it's armed on the up position. I will more use in the upper position, okay, and I will use the beeper, okay, more in the middle because my aux1 is a three-way position. So where is the beeper? Should be around, okay, should be around, beeper is here, and I will set it here in the middle position for aux1, okay, and let's save that, and voila, so now it's done. For the flight mode, I will use everything on the aux2, so something more angle like this, horizon like this, and more acro, plus anti-gravity, and the air mode also like this on the aux2 like this. So I should be not bad. So let's check that. In the middle should be in horizon. Okay, and then I am in acro. I should be in acro. Why is not saved? Maybe like this. Okay, okay. Gravity and plus air mode for the acro mode. So it's done. Let's check now the Osd information. You can see that the camera is set to a pale, so we can a little bit more extend the information. For example, more apply something in the upper position. The voltage like this, spread almost everywhere. The craft name is not necessary for me, and I will remove the timer too. Okay, is not very useful. Adapt to my battery settings. Okay, and also I will display. I like it. The flight mode. Okay, and for me it's really important as the RSSI since I got it, so I will display it something here. Okay, and everything will be not bad. I will save and also change the font and to use the clarity one. I really like this one. It takes a couple of seconds to load it, and after everything will look more larger. If you don't have the last Betaflight or one recent Betaflight settings, the machine will reboot and seems that the flash, the police is not correctly installed, but it's not the case. don't worry, on your own machine it will be. So we can also configure a little bit the LEDs. You can see that out of the box we have the throttle, the scanner. I will disable the battery. Okay, sorry. We'll turn on the battery. Okay, we have the battery, we have the throttle, the scanner, the turning, everything is done out of the box. So this is why we can see on the rear a lot of light alternating. Okay, so everything sounds to be correctly done for the light at least. One more time, you can also, if you need, adjust the video transmitter settings through some CLI command. There is a link associated with where you can find everything. So it's time to check this machine in the field, okay, and see how beastie in 3S is this machine for a 120 gram, okay, machine, and let's go. Hi, welcome to the demo fly of the GEPRC Hummingbird, and I will immediately raise an errata versus the first part, where I said that this machine is ERC tram compatible. In fact, if the protocol is here by default on the Betafly setting, then that the connection of the video transmitter don't support such kind of usage. So when you try to apply the frequency or changing the band is not working. So no CLI or OSD possibility to tune the video transmitter only manually with this button. So I will fly first in lost condition to show you the power lift of this machine. I will fly with the GST connector hub, the default one, so expect a little bit more performances if you decide to solder the XT30 connector. Okay, so let's go. So I will power the machine, okay, and turn on my radio. As I said previously, I flashed the FieldSky XM Plus with the RSSI compatible firmware, but out of the box is not here, so be sure to do it if you want such features. So I will record with the new Armweb Commander V2 recording, and let's engage the first loss flight, harming the motors. Let's go. Wow, it's powerful. Throttle from 30%. 1, 2, 3, go. Wow, it is powerful for sure. Ooh. I had a signal cut, I don't know why. Maybe the battery or some stuff like this. But now it's working well. Oh, you see? I've got a problem. Oh yes, cutting the power. Maybe a problem with the battery. Maybe this battery is not super good. But except that, it's working well. Okay, let's see in macro. No, working fine. No problem. Yes. Oops. Some conclusion about this GEPRC Hummingbird. Well, I was sure that after the FPV apps and FPV flight, you also noted that there is a lot of noise due to the motors clearly linked from a nominal throttle input. You can observe some noise in the FPV videos. That's really a drawback, and probably you will need to solder somewhere 220 pico microfarad cap somewhere in order to filter out a little bit these interferences. Well, it's a super powerful machine, despite to be only 3S compatible. I observed some oscillation with the default Betafly settings, especially when you recover from I will say a main power loop, some stuff like this, and there are some oscillations. So PID is made to be a little bit fine-tuned to improve the general performances of this machine. The control range is pretty good, and the throttle cuts observed on the last condition was due to the my battery a little bit damaged the first I used. So don't take into this consideration this motor cuts. Whatever, it's a pretty good machine, but the motor noise for me is the main annoying point, and also they forgot to flash the FSK exemplars with RSSI compatible firmware. And also, I don't understand why they don't install out of the box the XT30 connector. Really, I don't understand. Whatever, it's quite more or less an homogeneous machine. It's super durable. I'm very confident about the frame durability, 3mm of thickness, even more, so quite good. One little remark: don't use the screws, the spare screws in the bundle to secure the motor. They are shorter, so if you don't want to damage one motor, what I did, this is why I had to postpone a little bit this review of this machine, because I had to order new motors. So I hope you enjoy this new video. If you like it, please it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, okay, and see you next time. Bye bye.